The Liberation Day is happening on April the 2nd. What is the Liberation Day? Sounds like some sort of ancient ritual if you ask me. The President of the United States, one of the most famous person on earth, once again make himself the center of attention. On April the 2nd, 2025, Donald Trump said he's launching what's being called Liberation Day, introducing reciprocal tariff on every country trading with the United States. What exactly did he mean by reciprocal tariffs? Are we going to witness a historical economical revolution run by the United States, or is this all a big bluff designed to spook the financial markets, to trigger a much needed market correction? In this episode of the USA Update Show, we'll dive into what we currently know about this controversial Liberation Day. Let's look at whether the reciprocal tariffs even make sense historically and discuss the real motives behind the move, because sometimes things aren't quite what they seem, especially in politics. Leave your comment as you're watching. Let's uncover the truth together. First, let's clear things up. What are the reciprocal tariffs? In simple terms, Trump is saying it's time for us to go for an eye for an eye. If a country charges a US tariff on certain imports, the US will hit them back with equal or high tariffs. That's what a reciprocal tariff means. What the United States usually does is that they only impose tariff on the trading partner that have high trade surplus against them. For example, China has a strong competitive advantage over many countries in terms of labor and production costs. So many countries, including the United States, have implemented tariffs on Chinese imports so that they can protect their domestic supplier from the cheap import competition. Historically, the US has always had some sort of tariff on a few trading partners, especially China, Canada, Mexico, and the EU. This time around, the idea of reciprocal tariff is all expanding to all trading partners. Every country that wants to import goods to the US will be asked to pay tariff if this plan comes true. That's why the announcement has triggered a massive sell-off across the global financial market, due to concerns that Trump is wanting to ignite an insane global tariff war. Have you ever seen such magnitude of world trade policy in the history? The United States once implemented the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act in 1930. That was the closest we got to a global magnitude of tariff increase. It was Americans' attempt at protecting itself during tough times, and it ended up sinking the economy deeper into Great Recession. In the 21st century, the closest thing we got was during Trump's first presidential term in 2018. His trade policy targeted China, Canada, Mexico, and EU, which it wasn't as crazy as what he's planning to do in 2025. It can be argued that Donald Trump is looking to re-establish the global dominance of the United States. But announcing a plan to attack all countries will backfire. Countries always retaliate by raising their own tariff against the US. Mind you, Donald Trump knows what he's doing. Don't you think that he doesn't know what the consequences are? Before we guess the real motive behind Trump's Liberation Day announcement, let's first ask ourselves, is this reciprocal tariff strategy even possible? Let's say theoretically. From an economical perspective, there are much more negative consequences to the United States than what they could possibly gain from imposing a global reciprocal tariff system. I'll explain it in three main economical consequences that the tariff war could bring to imposing country. First is inflation. Increased tariffs are likely to raise the cost of import goods, contributing to a higher consumer price and overall inflation. Because of the tariff, the supplier who wants to supply to the United States has to raise their price to continue to make the same profit margin, and that same profit margin will be translated into the end user who's buying it, so the end user will be paying more for the same product, and that's what's called inflation. And second is limiting the economical growth. High import costs can lead to reduced consumer spending and business investment, potentially slowing economical growth, and even some analysts has raised concerns about potential recession resulting from these policies. And the third thing is a global trade relationship. Well-spread implementation of reciprocal tariff might escalate trade tensions, leading to retaliatory measures from other countries and disrupting global supply chains. The global relationship the US have maintained with its allies are getting tested too. Now, don't forget that the World Trade Organization, WTO, has their own rules too. So how does Trump's big Liberation Day plan play with the rules of the World Trade Organization? There are a few guidelines that you should know. Give this video a free like if you are following my explanation so far. As an economical geek who loves to share my opinion on the global finance and political news in the US, your free like and subscribe will be my biggest motivation to keep improving my video. The WTO essentially works as a referee of the global trade, aiming to make sure all member countries follow agreed upon rules and avoid sudden tariff battles. Under WTO guidelines, countries can't just slap tariff on each other whenever they feel like it. They're supposed to stick to previously agreed limits and negotiate peacefully. Trump's idea of reciprocal tariff charging countries exactly what they charge the US might sound fair to you, but it could violate WTO's rule, especially the core principle called most favored nations. MFN says you can't discriminate between trading partners, meaning you can't arbitrarily target one country different than another one without justified reasons. If Trump moves ahead of the US imposed reciprocal tariff without WTO's approval, other nations could legally retaliate or file dispute against the US. And this will not only trigger legal battles, but could also escalate into widespread economical tensions, especially unraveling decades of careful international diplomacy and economical agreements. In short, Liberation Day might liberate most chaos than fairness, putting America at odds with the WTO and possibly isolating the US from the global trade community. So now that you understand the theoretical feasibility and the pros and cons of Trump's next big move, whether he's actually going to implement this insane tariff plan or is this all just a political stunt to trigger fear? Let's discuss what could be his motivation. What's Trump's agenda behind all this? Again, I'm just an economical geek who shares my personal opinion based on the theory of economics and my background in finance. For those of you who don't know, I'm a stock option investing coach and I'm also a full-time real estate and stock market investor. So here's what I think. It's most likely a negotiation tactics. The way Trump branded this plan as a Liberation Day already signaled the political motive of garnering support from his fellow Republicans and their patriots of the US. The irony is, does a tariff war really align with the idea of liberation? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. From a political perspective, the threat of well-spread tariff could be quite an effective strategy to pressure all of the trading partners of the United States into a more favorable trade agreement or concessions. Who knows? We could be witnessing an aggressive leader who does best in leveraging economical uncertainty to achieve his policy goals. And as the previous President Joe Biden terms ended with an uptrending economical growth and a bullish S&P 500 index that hit all-time high, Trump as the current president would naturally want to reset the market. What does that mean? That means that for the market to continue to go up, he has to set back or have some kind of retracement before the market can move up. So how does he do that? He will create tariff to create uncertainty in the market so that the economical data will be reset. That way, Jay Powell, the chair of the Feds, have reason now to reduce the rate because this is what Donald Trump has been looking for all along. So the first year, like I mentioned in this video, is going to be a reset year. And then going to the second year, that's when Jay Powell have no other reason but not to drop the rate. Then drop the rate, here comes all the economical growth from real estate and stock market. Because when you know the rate drop, there'll be more cheaper money to borrow to invest into the business or in real estate or in the stock market. So the economy will continue to grow again. So in the third and fourth year, he can claim all of the glory that he done for the last 4 years and hopefully getting elected again, or maybe use some kind of strategy to stay in power for another 4 years. And that's for another video. I hope this video helped you understand better what to expect on April the 2nd. And more importantly, think about what kind of economical environment we're currently facing. Whether you are working a 9-to-5, an entrepreneur, or an investor, I'd like to hear your thoughts after watching my personal take on Donald Trump's policy. That's what happened when it's all said and done. Consider subscribing to the USA Update channel if you haven't already done so. I'll talk to you in 2 days.